school, it becomes part of your daily life. The PTA, meetings with teachers, performances, you name it, okay? And sometimes parents can be at odds with the administration. I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there.
Oh, yes.
We discovered 2 stories of schools versus parents that have blown our minds.
Okay, in a Louisiana middle school, they decided to celebrate Spirit Week before homecoming with several themes. The Monday theme didn't sit too well with parents. Spotlight Day asked students to wear green, yellow, or red to signify their relationship status.
Wear red if you're taken, wear green if you're single, and wear yellow if it's complicated.
Oh, it's all complicated. These are children.
These are babies, okay? At school.
If my child's wearing something that says taken, Liam Neeson better be nearby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that's about.
Okay. One mom was quoted as saying, sure, middle school kids are going to have crushes, but I don't think we need the school to play matchmaker for 10 to 14-year-olds. Thank you.
This is not the dating game.
No, it is not.
It's the school, your relationship status.
Well, you know what? When my daughter started in middle school, the words dating started to creep into her vernacular. And I was like, oh, no. You are children. Children do not date, okay? I was like, you can't even, she was talking about, well, this one is dating this one and this one. I was like, no, these are children.
Yeah, and I think that the added pressure when that happens of, first of all, trying to force kids in, because this happened at her school.
Yeah.
The kids start to take it so seriously that it's like, what if they're not in a, quote, relationship, they get bullied and hassled for that, and it's this weird gender norming and orientation blocking, and I think it's horrible.
Absolutely. Well, joining us now on the phone is mental health expert Cohen Henriques, who has some thoughts on this topic. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you, dynamic duo.
Well, do you have any thoughts about facilitate? Because some adults do feel like we need to facilitate, relationships between kids.
Well, I have difficulty with this because in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, a typical middle school, you're just learning more about who you are as a kid, and whether it's you're getting your first pimple and you're learning sports and you're learning different classes and you have hormones. And now all of a sudden the school board is saying, we want you to promote what your status is right now. And for the very few that may be in a relationship, and dating is not such a great word, but for the majority of them who are confused or complicated or single, that is going to be more shunning on them.
Yes. Well, Stephen, we have another story we'd love your thoughts on, okay?
Yes.
This story has a mom who has filed a lawsuit because her son didn't make the varsity soccer team. He didn't make the varsity soccer team at Ladue Horton Watkins High School, which is a lot of names for a high school.
Yes, it is.
And he was barred from returning to the junior varsity team because younger players are given priority.
Okay. Now, her lawsuit says that's discrimination because the school lets female juniors play on the girls' junior varsity team. The judge refused to order a Missouri high school to put a 16-year-old boy on a soccer team while his family sues for discrimination. The lawsuit is still pending. Should parents be involved at this level?
What do you think about that?
I think it's very similar to a couple of families that I worked with where the parents who were expecting everything for their child and expect to be on the front page when the actual child was not able to perform at the level that the parents assumed or expected them to be. And that's the big difference, where we accept things versus expecting. And it's really more of the parental issue than it is so much as the child.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I find that absolutely true. This idea that you just sort of get to be on varsity or something, and then if that didn't work out, you're going to go back to the other one.
You have to prove yourself and to work hard to make the varsity team. And if we all remember, Michael Jordan was cut from his varsity team, never made it, and he was put on JV and then was able to practice and be good enough to become a varsity player. And that's what a varsity team means, that you're good enough to play at that level, and the JV means you are good enough to play at that level. That's why we have those, quote, discriminatory levels but not because they're a bad person. They're just not performing at the level that they could be.
Isn't that grit? Like teaching your kid that when you don't get something you want, that isn't like the end of the world. We don't necessarily sue. Maybe it's time for you to work harder or get a tutor or help in some way.
Or find another sport.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, I mean, I played varsity hockey, varsity soccer, but JV baseball, and didn't make it on 3 other teams. So it all is applicable to what the person can do, not based upon what they should be getting based upon their age.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I remember in theater, for us theater kids, you knew that the seniors got the good parts.
Exactly.
But that's theater. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is that generally speaking, I think in high school, and I bet you this is the deal with the parents, there's a possibility of scholarships.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so I'm willing to bet that's part of the issue here.
And also the things that we're teaching our children, to sue, you know?
Yeah, you don't like it,
sue.
If I don't get what I want, then I'm going to fight the entire system, rather than changing the behavior of the person to say, I have to try a little bit harder. That could be more difficult for certain people, especially it sounds like the mother, where they're not accepting of the person's abilities or limitations, but they're going to fight the entire system to try to prove something to everyone else, when it actually does much more damage to the child than it does benefit the child.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
Me Time with Frangela.